Because if there is no spiritual connection, no soul connection, it's just two bodies fucking each other. It's like empty shells. And then your soul is starving. Was geht ab, Bloom Babies? Und willkommen zu einer Oh, this is an English podcast. Good morning, Bloom Babies, and welcome to another episode. The last episode about the different relationship dynamics was so well received. I got so many nice DMs and YouTube comments, and it also inspired Brittnee to make her version of that. So go check it out. It's really good. I really like when Brittnee and we both make a podcast about the same subject or experience. Like we also have done it where we like experienced a play party where we both played, and we both shared our play party experience. So yeah, today, my friends, we're gonna dive into how Brittnee Bond and Ferdy Beck, how we opened our relationship in a way that actually feels good. So sit back, fasten your vlogging seatbelt, and let's take a deep breath. Alright, let me turn off the fan. So yeah, I just listened to Brittnee's podcast about it, and it's so good. Like, she had some points I didn't talk about it, and once she talked about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. For example, when I talked about... Sorry, the song is too sleepy for me. When I talked about soulmates, I was like, yeah, soulmates are great for like friends, family, sexual partners, but I didn't talk about long-term relationships. And actually, many, if not most, long-term relationships out there that are flourishing are based on a soulmate vibration. And those are like the Disney type relationships where it's just like so harmonious because they just click, they just get each other, they're just vibing. And it's great because it's like their safe space where in the relationship they quote unquote don't crow. Like they crow, of course, but like Brittnee and I were those crows chunkies, and if you want those experiences, you gotta get like a twin flame or something, and like go through a couple karmic relationships and but many people want their relationship, and I totally get that. And sometimes on a nostalgic day when I watch the sunrise, I'm like, why don't I have a soulmate partner where I can just wake up and we're so the same and we like just like only good vibes and we're working everything out and there's hardly any fights because we're like really similar. But then this is just not who I am. I just love to crow on this crow's chunky. So please reflect me something where I can grow more. Where could I possibly be more integrated? Do you got those reflections? This is what I love. So yeah, it's like to my soulmate love. I'm sorry, babe. I cannot stay. I gotta flip a planet, so I gotta find my twin flame and like really become next level integrated and activate all my psychic abilities and create and gather the Avengers team so we fucking flip this planet and transform this society and shift in a new old golden age. Let's go. Okay, I'm in a funny mood today. Let's take a sip of my cacao. And always when I do that, I invite you to take a deep breath because we have a really juicy topic ahead. And one more thing I wanted to say. that many people actually confuse, in my opinion, like of course everything I'm saying is from my point of view, we all create our own reality. In my point of view, many confuse a twin flame connection with a karmic relationship. Did I say it like this? I mean it the other way around, where they say like, oh, this is my twin flame, I'm on my third twin flame. No, you're not. No. No. In actuality, what I see, most people haven't had an actual twin flame ever. But how would you know? Like before Brittnee, I'm like, oh yeah, this was totally a twin flame. No, because once you actually have a twin flame connection, you're like, oh, this is what that is. Oh, okay, yeah, this was totally karmic. Alright. Like, I'm pretty sure Brittnee would even say her last long-term partner before me, before she met me, she probably considered a twin flame. But now, looking back, she's like, oh, this was totally karmic. And it's really not about my definitions, but just the energy, what it actually contains. Like I talk about it in the podcast, in my latest podcast, that you can create whatever definition serves you, like whatever. You can call it your twin flame, even though it is not energetically, it's, I don't know, you can call your dog your twin flame. You know what I'm saying? You can make up whatever definitions and beliefs that serve you or not serve you. Like, you have free will. You always have the choice. What I'm talking about is the actual structure of reality, the mechanism. And there, since it's all energy, you can sense energies of everything, and then we can name it something. Like, the energy of actually embodying who we are is the full formula of following our highest excitement, following our joy. This is who we are. Like, when Bashar talks about it, he literally sees it in the structure of reality. He's just describing the mechanism. And those relationship dynamics, I just describe the literal energy that it is. So you can have more clarity and be like, this is a karmic relationship. So this is probably not my forever person. I'm not gonna go run away from all my friends and sell everything and think I'm gonna live with this person happily ever after on this island. Probably not. Let's take a deep breath and change the song. And first, like, go slow and work it through. And then we worked it through, and then we're not attracted to each other anymore. Good that I spotted from the beginning that it was a karmic relationship. Because I see people sometimes, not going slow and getting themselves into something, being totally delusional, and then like, how did I get here? So yeah, it's really nice to have a lot of clarity in your reality. So life becomes more easy, effortless, and it feels really cozy and guided. Oh, I really like this song. So yeah, I'm on my 6th twin flame. No, you're not. I just wanted to say that. Yeah, I got so much good feedback about the last podcast, and some were like, wow, in some DMs, because I feel like some of my English Bloom babies haven't seen me so much like this new Ferdi I embody now for a long time, because the only English podcasts were the ones I did with Brittnee together, but they're like the podcast I did with Brittnee together, and we did quite a lot, I'm not the biggest fan of, because we both talked about super deep things, but we both didn't enter the total channeling state because we wanted to create space for the other and go back and forth. So I like it way more when we do like solo episodes or someone hosts the other one, so we can like fully enter the channeling state and go deep. Okay, now we start. How we opened our relationship. I took some notes and I'm gonna tell you the story, the overview, and then in maybe future podcasts I'm gonna elaborate more about certain stories or side stories I haven't talked about in this podcast, because there's so much to unpack And why am I telling these stories? Because in every story I'm telling, there is a lot that we have learned and that maybe invites you to learn the same lessons, because in the core, it's all the same. It's all the same. That's why at the end, I don't know if I do it in this one, but if not, I link it to you, what my Pleiadian brothers and sisters and my Sasani brothers and sisters, like 2 extraterrestrials, how they live in relationships, how they're like operating on total synchronicity. They're loving themselves. Like self-love is the biggest one. Like when you actually love yourself, is who, like you remember who you are and then you love yourself for that, and everyone else loves themselves. There is no such thing of like jealousy, possession, envy. Everything is a spontaneously creation on total synchronicity. You meet the people you meant to meet at the right place, at the right timing, and you don't even know how long a relationship is gonna last until it's quote unquote over. Until like in your life review, once you ended this lifetime, because you're living in the present moment and you don't know. Maybe we're together for a year, maybe 10 years, maybe I have one primary partner, maybe 2, maybe 10, maybe 100. It's this beautiful total orchestration of synchronicity, and it's a beautiful dance where you know you get what you need, and it's so beautiful. Like I'm so excited that we shift more and more into that reality, because I'm like, yeah, this is what makes sense. This is like what my heart craves. But we humans are funny beings, and most of us are not even near to like actually being fully integrated and loving themselves and operating on total synchronicity, following their joy. So it's just really nice to read how they talk about it. So yeah, I'm gonna link it to you down below, and or we're also gonna read it at the end. But I have a feeling that this is gonna be a many-part podcast. So I mean, many parts in a sense of there's so much to unpack, because Brittnee and I, we went for a deep ride to explore the deepest corners of ourselves to like really integrate everything. Brittnee and I, we really love to be sincere in terms of actually looking at our shit and actually owning up everything that someone reflects, and growing and becoming fully integrated, balanced people in their powers. So, shall we dive into it? So yeah, as always, I recommend slow is safe. If you actually find your person, or who you think is your person, it is so beautiful to enjoy the first honeymoon phase and actually be monogamous temporarily. Because it's so special for at least a couple months, like at least 3 months, even like half a year, to just be in this honeymoon love bubble and enjoy that to the fullest. It is so special. And when Brittnee and I got together, we, like once we were like actual together, like this was after our MDMA trip where we like really saw our connection and we're like, oh my God. And then the next morning we were like, because we love to talk about everything, and this is what I so recommend: over communicate everything. So the first thing we said, like, let's be 2 weeks monogamous. And it's so nice to do it step by step. Like when you're so awake and you live so in the now, and everything is changing and embracing the flow, you don't say things like, let's do this for 3 months, because it comes differently anyway. So this is just like, yeah, doesn't make sense. But something that is like actually reasonable to aim for is 2 weeks. So we said like, hey, in 2 weeks, let's get dinner together and talk about it, how we feel. So it's so nice to check in frequently, over communicate, all these things. So 2 weeks we were monogamous, and then after 2 weeks we continued. But soon we started to host the next play party together. If you don't know, Brittnee and I, we host here play parties in Kopangan, also wherever we travel. So we also did it in Germany and in Berlin. This is actually how I met her for the first time, coming here to one of her play parties. I got so excited because it was so mind-blowing for me. So when I traveled back to Berlin, I hosted my own. And then she even flew out and we hosted one together. This was like before we were dating, we were just friends. Because I saw like how powerful she is and how much I have to grow in order to meet her. And this was mostly subconscious. So I like stayed away from her and I really grew even faster. So for example, that's why I got excited to host my own play party, because there's so much growth in it. Like going to a play party, you like have to done already a lot of growth to go to one. And like to one of ours, like being accepted, to come there and everything. Going there with your partner is like another level of growth to participate at one. But hosting one by yourself for the first time without having like the structure around it in a frozen country like Germany, and with frozen I mean that people are in Germany overall are really frozen, like not so embodied, and sexuality is really foreign because we're so in our heads. But yeah, I did it, really proud of myself. But it's so funny, like I'm like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, I'm gonna do this forever. And I do one and I outgrew it and I'm like, okay, what's next? Where else can I grow? So this is what I mean, Brittnee and I, with those growth junkies. We're doing something, and once we have outgrown it and it becomes like a routine, we go to the next thing. But this is actually all of us Bloom babies when you follow your joy. Like you follow your highest excitement, and something that excites you right now, once you like outgrew it, it doesn't excite you anymore. So that's why it's so nice to slow down and actually enjoy whatever it is that excites you right now, because sooner or later it won't excite you anymore. Something else will excite you, or the same in a different way. So it's so nice to enjoy every phase you're in, because like everything's temporary, and where we're at in the timeline, things are shifting fast. So I really make sure I'm enjoying all the little bits and pieces of the journey. Oh, I really like the song. It's called Love Song. Then we hosted our first play party together. So I jump forward now. So she came to Berlin, we hosted one together. I came back to the island, we started dating. I came to one that she facilitated herself, and then after we got together, we were hosting them together. And the first one we hosted, I fucked up. It's like, we always do the best we could, the best we can. Like we always do everything out of love and the best we can in that moment. So the Ferdi back then was doing everything perfectly for where he was. But where I was like a baby in a lot of senses when it comes to energy sensing, in a sense of emotional attunement, emotional intelligence, however you want to call it. Like really sensing what Brittnee needs, like not what she's saying and what she's agreeing. Because maybe she's agreeing to the things that I don't feel boxed in, but what does her little inner child actually needs to feel safe? And this is all in the underlying energy. It's not found in the words, in the agreements, it's in the energy. And the Ferdi back then was like, this is what she said. And which is, Brittnee told the story many times in her podcast and didn't hold back. So listen to those if you want to hear more details about the story. About my side, just briefly, there were just like a lot of women I was excited to play with, and I was like asking her, like in the beginning when we started the play party, like, hey, we said we're like not gonna play with other people, but like, do you still want to do that? And this was so dumb, like, why would you do that, Ferdi? Because like the Ferdi back then, like, oh, I felt like we're so good and we could just play and it's fun and it's abundance. It's like this Pleiadian boy in me, Like, yeah, sure, this is where we're getting to, but most people are not there yet. So you gotta sense that, Ferdi. You gotta sense that. And this was a beautiful moment to not play with other women and keep the honeymoon phase going. So she then said like, yeah, sure, we can play with others. But her energy was actually saying like, no, let's don't. And then I played with other women, and there were like a lot of women who were into me, and I had fun, but then I hurt her a lot. But like never in this like on purpose, like not at all. Like at the end of the evening I was like, baby, this just showed me how much I just want you and wanna like stay in our honeymoon phase. Like this doesn't give me anything right now. Because like, yeah, let me tell you, I played so much sexually, and once I found Brittnee, I was like, wow, oh my god, this is what I want. And then especially the honeymoon phase at the beginning, like here I recommend to you learn from me and actually create such a monogamous safety in the honeymoon phase where you really go in that love bubble with each other. But yeah, I'm so proud of Brittnee because she didn't close her heart down. At the end of the evening, we made love together and reconnected, and it was beautiful. But this hurt her that we stopped hosting actually the play party for the whole high season, because I wasn't there yet where I could do it in a coupleship, because my emotional attunement, energy sensing, however you want to call it, wasn't on point. Also like fully understanding power dynamic, that I'm like so powerful, and then I host these play parties, and then being Brittnee's partner gives me even more powers. How like many women are really then into me and want me, but then like really seeing, is this coming out of this power dynamic, or because we're just like vibing super well and they like the little fairy inside of me? Like, what is it actually? And what is healthy? Like, is this like a healthy dynamic? Like all these things, Brittnee goes deep in her podcast. I highly recommend listening to her podcast, but I think it's so nice to also get it from my point of view, because it's one thing when women get it. Okay, now the song gets too much. Because women just get it, you know? Like Bashar said at one of his latest uploads that like after the Anunnaki came and upgraded, like turned us into a Homo sapiens, the first upgrade was implanted in women. So like, yeah, like for me, women are just more powerful. That's why they're so suppressed. And if you actually experience a woman fully in their power, you're like, oh my god. Let me tell you, I feel like most men haven't experienced a woman in their full power, and it will blow you the fuck away. And I'm so thankful that Brittnee really showed me herself in her power, so I could learn all the things and now embody a healthy masculine and really understand women. Because also, let me tell you, I feel like most men, or many men, think they understand women. Yeah, I know what she likes, I know what she needs, but they don't. Because how you actually learn it is from a woman in their power, and many women in their power, and really being with them in healthy dynamics where you don't suppress them in some way or anything. Because they're like, yeah, I have this woman and it's healthy, but no, you're suppressing her. She's not in her power. You have no clue. So yeah, straight up. What? You're saying a woman doesn't like to, if I like talk over her and tell her what to do and don't create space for her emotions, and when it comes to sex, it's super fast and hard only, and I just lecture her and I just like talk to her all the time, and she just loves to listen to me all day. No. I'm telling you, no. No. What women actually like is that you actually listen to her, that you actually create space for her feelings, for her emotions. And creating the space means you don't tell her what to do, you create the space so she can open up and get to the bottom herself and really transform things, grows and things, and you just witness that. Because a woman is like a flower, and when you actually understand woman, you see how it's so beautiful once a flower opens up. Women are like the muse. And you're like, but what do I get out of it? Enjoying the muse. Like, this is the most beautiful thing ever. This is like something to almost worship. This is so precious. Watching a woman open up. So yeah, how do I do that? Create space, actual space. Not because you want to sleep with her or anything, because you actually like wanna be there for her and see how beautiful and precious this is, a woman opening up, being vulnerable, transforming things, stepping in her power, and you support that. Like, still in the timeline, the healthy masculine is still a lot to protect and provide, like all these things, so a woman can open up. And you see how deep the emotions of a woman go, how in tune she is to nature, the cosmos. Like, it's so beautiful. So yeah, actually listen to her, create a lot of space, ask a lot of clarifying questions about how she's actually feeling in the moment. And really sense energies. It's not found in the words, in the agreements, but in the energy, that it feels good together, that your and my color are merging, and it's a dance. It's not like I say these things and ask her about her emotions in this order. No, it's about sensing what she actually needs right now. And if she cannot speak up for it right now, for whatever reason, that you sense it, and that you then lead it. So she can meld into you. So she can actually be in your feminine. So she can actually be in her feminine because you're in your healthy masculine. And then when it comes to sex, actually, like, women need way more time. Slow down. Go down on her. Like, make her come, make her open up, and then slow and deep. This is what many women actually like. Sure, then you can go fast. But like, we men often, we're like so one-dimensional, only seeing it from our penis and what we can penetrate. And then once you actually like flip it around, like, think about how vulnerable it is to be penetrated. And I recommend to every man, like, of course, follow your excitement. But if it's your excitement, then get your programming out of the way and get penetrated yourself. Yeah, I experienced it. Both like active and passive, where I got penetrated anally, like, where else? And it's so vulnerable. You have to like really feel safe, like safety. Like, safety is the key to pleasure. Otherwise, if we're not feeling safe, we cannot allow pleasure to come in. Like, all these things I really caught up since I'm together with Brittnee. I'm so thankful that Brittnee allowed me to learn what women actually are, what they actually need, how, I don't want to say how they work, because this doesn't sound nice. So yeah, and once she more and more showed me herself and her power, I was like so blown away that I almost wanted to run away. Because quickly men then become insecure, because if women are so powerful, what do they need us then for? What is our role as men? And yeah, I made a bunch of podcasts in German exactly about that, because it's such an important topic, because I feel like many people, they don't know. And how should they? We never got taught it. We actually got taught the opposite, like this toxic masculinity programming from our society. So yeah, this is what I love about my podcast. Just going into the sphere, and this is actually my excitement, to drift off into the cosmos. Brittnee was listening to my podcast. She was like, it's nice, I really like it, and also you're just like all over the place. I'm like, baby, welcome to my show, where we fasten our podcast seatbelts and we don't know where this ride will get us. And this is how it's so exciting, you know? Like if I just like talk about this list in a chronological, proper order, I sure can. But then I'm just like talking, and in my mind I'm already multidimensional and at other places because it bores me. I want to be stimulated, so I just like go into a story and I see where we end up. So this was just a nice little flow. On that, I take a sip of my cacao. There are just so many stories to unpack, but now I go back to the chronological order. So Brittnee and I were together a couple months. This first play party oopsie happened. We stopped hosting the play parties, and I really caught up on all these things I just talked about. And still, I'm saying them like textbook, but in reality, doing them like this, sure, sometimes I don't create the space she needs and see what the underlying fear-based belief is she wants to get to, and I already sense it, so I take it away from her and already say like, this is what it is. Does she like it? No. Do I understand it? Yes. Does it still sometimes happen? Yes. So I just want you to know that. But it's so important to be aware of it, like to actually know these things, these tools, because then you can work with that. Because most men I see running around with a toolbox that is about these things empty. They don't have these tools. And it's so powerful. Once you have the tools, you can really dance together. Because you understand each other. Alright, so there's so much to unpack. I just go to the list I have. So I also want to say, Brittnee and I, we are together now for 1.5 years. And I actually haven't slept with anyone else, like penetrative sex. I had a bunch of oral sex and making out with people, mostly at the play parties. Actually, now that I think about it, I think 100% at the play parties. Brittnee also had a bunch of oral sex with other people at the play parties and outside the play parties, and slept with one person, like penetrative sex, outside the play party. And like none of that was cheating. Like we talked about it. Brittnee, let me tell you, she's so good at creating safety for me, protecting my heart. Like she does it so textbook. I'm so blessed. This is also funny that when I'm with her, like all these things I just talk about, she needs those things on such a high level. Because women who don't love themselves yet fully, they still like maybe listen to this and like, I don't need safety. I need to be fucked hard. I need to like this and that. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you think that because this is maybe what you base your self-worth in, that this is what you deserve. But no, you actually deserve someone who like creates the space for you because you're worthy for that space. So yeah, this is like once we actually come to the point in the timeline where we all love ourselves, all of a sudden my words will make sense, because then you're like, oh yeah, I'm worthy for all these things. Yeah, let me tell you, you are. And this is what I experience when I spend time with Brittnee a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm meeting all these things on a really high level. But once I spend time with some other woman, I'm like, oh, this is so easy, because they don't have, like, it's always case by case. I'm just saying Brittnee has like really high needs for these things, and I actually love it. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this is like so much. But then I'm like, oh my God, I actually love it. Because yeah, like she really shows me how rich the present moment is. Because like she's so sensitive that there's so many things that could bother her, affect her, that we actually drop in and feel good and all the things. And I just got so sensitive through experiencing the muse, her, the flower opening up in that I also picked up on all these things. So now I'm actually, when I'm out and about with some people, I'm like, no, actually here the music is too loud and I'm not comfortable here. Oh, let's lay over here. Actually, this makes my neck hurt when I look to you like this. Let's sit like this, and can we touch each other? Oh yeah, this feels good. Oh, now I'm trapped in. Now let's open up. I'm like, oh my God, this is how good we can feel. Yeah, we can feel so good in the present moment and actually speak up for the things and feel into like what we actually need to feel good and really know that we're worthy to feel good. I'm worthy to like have a relaxed neck and feel cozy while we're like going deep into spirit. So yeah, thank you, Brittnee, for that. This is really beautiful. I feel like I'm becoming a woman. But this is just my feminine inside of me. Know that we always have both masculine and feminine parts in us. And yeah, once I like cover all the things that we're like safe, physically safe, and that everything is on point and that I provide so we can live a sustainable lifestyle. Of course, I want to make all the emotional things nice, that I feel good in my body and I'm cozy and all of that stuff. Like, this is where we all want to get to. So yeah, it's really beautiful. Thank you, babe. This is amazing. Okay, I'm trying to find a nice song. Like, in my German podcast, I really vibe with the songs, but here in my English podcast right now, since I'm talking about relationship stuff, I have so much to tell you that the songs are just secondary. So let's just take something that is chill. Here we go. Okay, let's go back to the story. We went all over the place. Brittnee's gonna listen to this podcast. She's like, you just like lost me a bunch of times. Okay. I don't know, there are just so many things happen. I just go back to the list. Then we were in Berlin, like half year into our relationship, and she met someone in Amsterdam. She did a trip to Amsterdam, and we actually said, like, it was like an upcoming trip. She's a week away. I stayed in Berlin, and we're like, okay, in what corridor do we want to play with other people if there are connections? And we were like, hey, yeah, let's that we can just make out with other people if it's flowing. Like, we both know, like, we're already so far in our inner journey being integrated that we don't have these things like, I'm gonna make you jealous, I'm gonna get back at you. Like, no, ew, what? Why? I love her, I protect her heart, why would I hurt her? No, this is disgusting, never. Like, for me, she comes first. Like, I want her to feel safe. I overprotect her, even, like, in the way of over communicating. So of course, if we make out with someone, it's because it's a divine connection where it's based on excitement and mutual excitement, and it's something really beautiful, and there's something deeper to explore. Like, the connections Brittnee and I go into are mostly deeper connections. Like, Brittnee and I were not interested in, like, mostly, unless this is flowing, but we're not interested in just one night stand, sleeping with someone, not seeing them again. Like, no. We need a spiritual connection where this is also leading to something, that the energy bounces back and forth and amplifies and becomes bigger, meaning that the people, like, stay in our lives, and it's like part of our soul family, bigger family. Like, there is something to explore, because the physical things we already have fully explored, and eventually, let me tell you, you will get to the point where the physical doesn't give you much anymore at all, because if there is no spiritual connection, no soul connection, it's just two bodies fucking each other. It's like empty shells, and then your soul is starving. And once there's like a deep soul connection, this is making you so full, and then it doesn't matter what form of connection you do, because what is sex? It's a form of connection. That's what it is. Like any other form, like going out for food, cuddling, swimming together, going to the waterfall, working on a project, like whatever is like all forms of connections. And the actual connection is what is so attractive. Like, yeah, there is a connection. There is something to grow. We have reflections for each other where we can both grow in a way that feels good. And if it then comes to a romantic sexual connection, that's great. If not, that's also great. But what is like turning me on is that we have a soul connection. So we agreed on making out with other people, and she went to Amsterdam, and she actually first evening found someone where there was a deep soul connection. And like with Brittnee, like it's actually like a deep soul connection. She's even like for her it's even more important. Like I can still like, oh yeah, she's hot, I'm hot, and we're vibing. Like this could be like, I'm still a little like that. No shame about it whatsoever. Still, I need there to be a soul connection. For Brittnee, it's like there needs to be a really strong soul connection. Like if this not is a given, she doesn't care at all about the fucking. If there's not a deep soul connection that makes her heart tingle. And her wonderful, beautiful magic, chaos, synchronicity found that on the first evening, and they ended up making out. There we got into a little fight, or actually it wasn't a fight because I handled it so well. I'm really proud of myself because there was a miscommunication. Because for us Germans, we are really accurate. And Brittnee, she's from California. Americans, in general, in their programming, their like culture, they like to exaggerate more. So for Americans, apparently, making out means also including oral sex. For us Germans, making out is like no oral sex. It's like just cuddling and kissing, but not more than that. Like for us Germans, oral sex is already sex, kinda. So I didn't picture it going that far because they actually had oral sex. But then like she told me about it, and first I was like, oh! And then I was like, okay, actually, it's great. Because I saw it's like and she does it so well. Like I could just be like this, like, now I'm angry, and I'm like, no, there's no reason. This is like a beautiful connection. Why wouldn't I be happy for her? So this was like the first time outside the play party where she was sexually with someone else, and it was overall a great experience. I mean, there were like a lot of things I can go into, and they're really juicy, but this is what I mean with other podcasts. So you just let me know. Love is here now. And then, fast forward, we were here back on the island. So we came back here to Kopangan in August 2023. We're back here now for like 9 months. Wow. So yeah, this was also like, I don't know, December. She met this guy again in somewhere here on the island, on a special place. It's called Wainam. And they actually slept together. And this was all, we talked about it, like over-communicated. And like I was like, go girl, I really like energetically, yes. Like there was another potential lover for Brittnee where she wanted to make love with him. And she was literally naked with him in bed. But for her, it just wasn't a full body yes. Because the connection wasn't as strong enough for her. And again, this was like, I was like agreeing to it. And I'm not like, oh yeah, I agree on it, but actually I don't. No, I really want to grow, and this all felt really good. And yes, I knew this is who I am. Like for me, staying monogamous forever, this just like doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like it's so weird for me. Like as you might know, the alien fairy I am. Like I'm looking at this planet, like our society and what we're doing, and monogamy. I don't actually know the word. Being monogamous. Monopoly. Exactly. So yeah, you see, this is how much sense it makes to me, that I don't comprehend the word even, because it doesn't make sense to me. And I also know we have like trauma and all these things, so we like have to go slow and over communicate and do things in a way that feels good for both of us. This is really important to get, because it's so great to read about Pleiadians and Sasanis where we can get to, but this is not where we are in the timeline. No, we're not. We're still having like a lot of inner work to heal and our traumas to heal. And until then, there are like things popping up that create jealousy and attachments, like all these things. And it's so important to give them space, because there is actually something to heal, that when it comes up, that we in the moment create the space so the person has the space and is held in it to heal it. So yeah, over the year, Brittnee and I, we really healed all these things, because before her and I got together, I thought I'm already like the best in like an open relationship and all of that. But then when I met her, I had to learn it all from a new level, because before her, I never met someone I actually loved that much. So I'm so proud of us, how we really like embody now all the things and live in a healthy relationship overall, where if something comes, we pick it up, we create a space, we support each other, and we work it through. And yeah, so just moving forward, she slept with this guy and it was all beautiful, and she came back and we reconnected, and there was like really zero fights or anything about it, or I gave her weird feelings. No, she came back, we made love, and we had the best love ever. Like the love was way more spicy if she wouldn't have slept with him, because there's just new sparks in our relationships. It's all beautiful. She sees how much she actually loves me. It's so beautiful, and like how sexy that she knows like I'm actually cool with that. And it's like, this is like proving that we actually embody all the things that we say we embody, and by actually embodying them in the physical experience, this is what is so attractive. So yeah, and then we hosted like many more play parties. Like this high season, we actually did like a lot. We hosted them every 2 weeks. So a couple play parties, we experienced not playing with anyone, because there were things where we deep went into something because something traumatic was triggered and we needed to work through it, and I knew it's time to create a space for her to heal that, and right now it's not the time to play with anyone. So there were like at least like, I don't know, 4 play parties where both of us didn't flow with anyone. We just hosted the party, which was also amazing to experience, and I really enjoyed that. And then one of the latest play parties was really nice to experience, where I played with someone, and Brittnee, like I checked in with her before, like, hey, I want to play with this woman, is this cool for you? How do you feel about it? And she was like, yeah, I feel good. And I could energy sensing. I could feel that she actually feels good about it. So I flowed with her, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful connection. And then after we flowed, I found her and I checked in with her again. Like, hey, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And she's like, yeah, thanks for checking in with me. I feel good. And it was a beautiful experience, where experientially I saw I could play with other women, and Brittnee is fine with that. At the last play party, I fucked up a little again, because I was like, my inner child was like really excited to play. But then there was something that was triggering for Brittnee, and then I didn't create enough space for her to heal it. I rushed it, and it was just like a missed opportunity to heal something, and then, caused a fight that we learned a lot out of it. Like always, I make sure if I don't do it in the moment as I could have done, I really look at it, and then the fight reveals everything, where we really like emote and go deeper into emotional releases, and it reveals other things in our relationships we can work through. So it's always beautiful, because we both really love each other and want to work through things. Like we don't want to hold crutches or not look at things and not own things, and you have done this. No, we actually want to like You say something, okay, let me look at it. And okay, I'm triggered. I realize I'm triggered. Okay, I take deep breath. Okay, let's take 5 minutes apart. Okay, let's come back together. Okay, I hold my crown so you can go like all over the place and we take turns. Like all these things. And we worked it through and it is beautiful. Oh, I love her. And I'm proud of our growth, and I'm so happy to share this. Okay, it's so funny. My physical mind is like, Ferdi, this podcast was so all over the place and like not organized at all, and you just like, wah! And my higher self's like, Ferdi, I'm so proud of you. This was just perfect. I wanted you to talk about specific things that like you didn't have on your list. And you just like channeled them, and it's perfect because there's like endless things to talk about, and we're shifting in an age where like we're all channeling. Like it's not about any agendas anymore in this chronological order. It's like whatever is necessary to come through, and here you have it. There's so many stories where I would love to go deeper into it. So give me feedback if you like this, that I talk about relationships, about my relationship. And there's just so much to learn and unpack. And I love that we host these play parties because it's so fun. It makes money. And there is so much to grow. Like, we're like talking about all these things. And in day-to-day life, like, easy. But then at a play party setting, experientially, like, actually, this could be like, you could like double check this and you could like check in with me more and sense the energy better, like all these things, like so it gives us this huge opportunity to grow as a collective. Like I love the play parties because we actually grow in tribe. It's like all the people that come there, like when you're in Kopangan and we host one of them, like right now it's getting into low season, so we take a break, but when we host them, I highly recommend come to one if you're excited, because it's something so powerful to experience. Like Brittnee and I, we got so good in hosting them. Like we do a facilitation of like 2 hours, of like 1 hour we explain everything and we drop in, and then 1 hour of connection games. And we just facilitate that so well. We got really good at this. Because it's so beautiful if it's hosted together, that Brittnee, she's like the main host, as a woman, which I love, like empowering the woman about sexuality. That it comes from her as a woman is so empowering, especially to other women, and also to men, seeing a woman in her power. And then we just bounce the energy back and forth, and it's so beautiful to do it as a couple, like showing the world experientially, like we're not just saying it, we're doing it. Because let me tell you, many couples I see that are sharing their lives on social media, that like everything is perfect. They don't share their like fights, and that's fine. If you don't feel excited to share, don't. That's great. But just like be real, Like I really have to unfollow and mute the people where I know they're like going through major fights and things in their relationship, and on social media they portray it as like everything is perfect, we love each other so much. I'm like, I cannot. Like all I just shared about, so vulnerable. Like Brittnee and I, this like first year was so tough. Like we broke up almost many times, but I knew we're gonna come back together anyway, so we worked it through, and I'm so proud of us. And I'm also so proud of us for sharing this vulnerably. And it feels so good just to walk through the world real, raw, and authentic as who you are. You don't have to wear any mask. It's so chill. Like I just see some people still on the island who have like a lot of masks. Like when they're with these people, they're like that. And when they're with these people, they're like that. And with me, they're kind of weird because they know I see through their shit. They cannot hide anything. They're like, which mask should I try on? This one. But he sees through any of them. And I'm just myself. So wherever I go, whatever I do, you meet me, I'm like, hey, cool. I'm like myself, This is just me. Like exactly as I am on my podcast, this is how I am everywhere else. And this feels so freeing. So I really invite you to embody who you are, remember, follow your highest excitement, study the whole formula, listen to Bashar, especially now, like many people go like really out there in their waking up process and like, whoa! And I really invite you to, stay in the knowingness, and Bashar is such a safe space to wake up in the knowingness. It's like, imagine this golden bowl right here. This is the universal message. This is the knowingness, however you want to call it. And we forgot it, so we can remember it again, so we come closer. And I recommend it, once you found it more and more, to stay in the knowingness and making the knowingness cool in whatever swaggy ways you enjoy. What I don't recommend is, once you kind of found the knowingness or fully found the knowingness, to go out of it again and go into like weird ways and do donuts and loops and I mean, whatever excites you, you know? But your excitement is actually guiding you to the knowingness and staying there in the coolest way ever, where you're actually who you are. So this is what I recommend. So I feel like ending the podcast with a Bashar nugget. This is what I did for a long time with my German podcast. I was like, Germans, listen to Bashar. You don't want to? I just added at the end of my podcast, so you get a taste of it. And now they got hooked, because this is actually your higher self talking to you. So enjoy this little Bashar cutout, and let me know in the comments or as an Insta DM what the next episode shall be about, which topic you would like me to dive deeper in, or otherwise just give it a thumbs up, leave some love, let it rain that love, and I just channel whatever comes through in the next episode, because I got really excited to also share now in English. I got out of my little German, Austria, Switzerland podcast cave, which was like, became like such my comfort zone. And it feels good and also vulnerable to share in English, because everyone can understand. And it's not my mother tongue. It's like all my physical mind, my higher self is like, duh. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace out.
I was meditating one day, and I was meditating on you.
You were meditating on me?
With you, on you. I was literally sitting on top of you.
I wondered what that pressure was.
That was me. I'm on a diet.
Oh, all
Anyways,
right.
I was talking with you.
Yes.
I don't know if you talked back.
You were talking with your own higher mind, using me as a mask to make it easier for you to do so.
Okay. So, as I was doing that,
Yes.
You brought forward this...
Your higher mind brought forward.
Well, higher mind brought forward this girl that was... Who was that? Was that a version of myself? Was that a hybrid? Was that a little baby of me? Or what? I don't understand.
Let's just say right now it was a projection of your higher mind, and also perhaps in concert with a guide.
Okay, because that's what I've been working with, and I wasn't
there you
sure
go.
that was. Okay, so I am trying to tap into myself in different parallel realities. Right now I'm trying to focus on Atlantis, and was I there, and how do I tap into that?
All right. First and foremost, you as a person were never there, because you as a person have never been anywhere but here. Reincarnation is an illusion. It's an experience you can create, and it can feel very real. But that's not an accurate description of the mechanism that gives rise to that experience. Mm-hmm. Everything, as we said, exists at the same time, remember?
Yes.
So if everything and everyone exist all at once, how can you have ever been anyone else?
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
You're creating a connectional link to something that coexists at the same time that you do, that you call the past, in order to draw information and experience from it to aid and assist you in this particular theme of exploration. Mm-hmm. Now, again, if you have interest in the idea of the civilization on your world that was known as Atlantis, or Aztlan in the original tongue, the idea is, since you're focused on it, since that might be an expression of your passion, the more you act on your passion, even on those things that seem unrelated, as we said, one of the tools in the kit is that it links you to all other expressions of your passion in life. So following your passion where you can will always lead you to other understandings and experiences and expressions of your passion where you might not be able to find anything to act on at the moment.
Okay.
So just follow the thread.
Okay.
But the idea in general is that you're at the end of a cycle that began in Atlantean times. It's almost as if, in a sense, what you call your country of America or your continents of America are a modern interpretation of the idea of the Atlantean cycle so that you can make different choices this time and not wipe yourselves out.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So you may be drawing upon that a little bit in this transformational experience to guide you in understanding how to make different choices that will be more to the benefit of yourself and more beneficial for your society than the choices that might have been made in Atlantean times that allowed them to attract destruction upon themselves.
Okay.
You follow?
Yes. Now, the fifth dimension.
Yes?
I am,
Non-physical.
yes.
Yes.
Non-physical, the self that I am right now, that I'm changing and transforming into. I'm trying to, not trying. I am moving in that direction, and I'm feeling
Yes.
more awake, and I'm feeling
Yes.
more alive, and I'm
Yes.
feeling more in that moment.
Yes.
Now, how do I know that I'm in that moment? And
How will you
how do
know
I
you're in
stay?
the fifth dimension?
How do I stay?
You'll be
in
dead.
that? No, literally, like I don't know what I'm scratch, edit, read. Let's redo.
You understand that the fifth dimension, fifth density, is non-physical.
Okay.
You're going into fourth density,
Okay, I'm not.
which is
explaining it
still
right.
physical.
Okay.
A higher level of physical reality, very, very much dreamlike, very much empowered, very much magical, but still a physicalized expression. However, please again, all of you remember, in a sense, non-physicality, spirit, if you want to call it that, is your natural state. You never, ever leave that state. You haven't left the spirit world. You're just dreaming that you have. That's what physical reality is. Okay. It's a focus in spirit of an idea that makes it seem as if you're no longer in spirit, but the majority of you is. So the idea of going into spirit and ascending is just the idea of waking up to the fact that you've been dreaming that you're not there.
Okay. Okay. And that's why I'm connecting with every
Yes.
single thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's the natural state you experience in spirit. So when you start divesting yourself and streamlining yourself and letting go of the things that are no longer relevant for you, be they negative beliefs or not, if they're no longer relevant, you let them go over time and you allow yourself to slowly wake up or quickly wake up into the understanding that all you've done is simply put yourself to sleep.
Yep. Yes.
But even that's only a small part of the greater being that you are. You see, this is one of the reasons why people on your planet always wonder, well, when someone dies, why don't they always come back? Or why does it take so long for them to get in touch with me or send me a message? You have to understand that when they wake up, it's like waking up from a dream, and they don't necessarily miss you that much because you're already there. Most of you is there. It doesn't mean it invalidates the physical portion of your consciousness that you're experiencing right now, but from the perspective of spirit, that would be like someone saying, well, I know you're here, but right now I'm going to go and I'm going to make a connection with your little finger because your little finger misses me. And that's okay, that can be done. But that's about the size of it compared to the being you are in spirit. Do you understand?
Yes.